Hi everyone, and welcome again to our fourth Fane devlog. We've been working on this update for a bit, which has more of a content than feature-oriented spin to it relative to other updates. Because of this, we're going to be separating new features into larger categories for this devlog. If you haven't yet, be sure to wishlist Fane on Steam. It gives us some analytics about our Steam audience that lets us do things like fine-tune performance to your hardware, or work on features you guys enjoy from other games. Anyways, let's get into it. Kicking off the devlog with character features, we've added a couple new uniquenesses to Fane. Lactose intolerance impairs your ability to digest lactose, which is used in most chocolate, milk products, and derived items. Trying to eat these types of foods will cause your character to become slightly sick. We've also added a pale uniqueness, which causes you to sunburn more easily, speaking from experience. Characters can now die of alcohol poisoning. That is, you can no longer drink multiple bottles of high-proof alcohol without brain death. Your character's eyes also become very bloodshot when drunk, indicating when you're under the influence to other characters. In addition, drunkenness now has a visible effect on the player, causing them to stagger. We've added LSD to Fane. It causes hallucinations and impaired motor functioning, as well as a heightened awareness of the cosmos. We've improved some combat sounds, like punching, to make them feel heavier and less stale. Characters now get stressed faster than in prior builds. This is the apocalypse, and we want to motivate players to de-stress their character more. One easy way to de-stress is using some drugs such as alcohol, but this isn't viable because your character will quickly get addicted if they abuse it. In the future, marijuana will allow the player to de-stress, as well as other routine activities like playing games or working out. Finally, players can now contract the zombie virus. As of this video, around 2% of all attacks from a zombie will cause the player to contract the virus. Over the course of a few in-game days, the player character will become sick as with normal illness, but will be unable to recover. Once the player becomes a zombie, their zombie will contain the items that would be in their corpse's inventory and will have to be hunted down. On the construction side of things, we've made a huge leap in standardizing tiers of what can be built. For our first barricades, Azzy has created a set of wood scrap fortifications. These aren't very reliable, but work in a pinch to defend against one or two zombies. They're made mostly of planks and nails, and have windows you can open and close for visibility. The next set of fortification barricades we're aiming to get in are fortified wood barricades, which will require special tooling to take down. More on that in the next update. Structures can all now be damaged. If a built structure takes enough damage, it'll be destroyed. Some more advanced structures, such as those made of metal or a fortified material, need specialized tools to be taken down and don't take damage normally. We have yet to add metal or fortified barricades, but the system is now in for when we do. If nothing has damaged the structure in a while, its health regenerates. In addition, some fortification structures, like barricades, decay over time. Material will be pulled from the UC every so often to feed the structure. If the structure is not fed, it stops regenerating health. We're still balancing this system, so we expect it's going to be frustrating at points. That's why we continually gather feedback on our Discord and otherwise. We recommend joining if you haven't, if nothing else, to see what people are talking about. All the furniture on the map has been wired up by Azzy to give some sort of scrap. They sunk a lot of hours into it, and hopefully it'll help with gathering materials to construct structures with. They also added scrap metal to every container in the game, so if you're looking for construction material, you should be able to find it easier now. Doors have received a huge update. First, you can build doors in the construction menu, which replace existing doors. You can also place doors wherever doors exist or existed previously to fortify them. You can also place doors in constructed fence gates. Doors can be destroyed by both players and zombies. They can also be breached using firearms, which cause them to fling backward. Of course, as we add late game content, heavier upgraded doors will be less prone to this and will need special tools to be breached. We've added a water barrel to collect rainwater. You can drink from them and refill containers using them. If you build them, they'll collect water if they're placed outside and it rains. We have plans to make rainwater dirty, requiring purification for human consumption, but for now just use your imagination. With respect to the world, we've improved how items spawn. We found a few bugs that caused several items to spawn much less than we intended, and we'll have the fixes included in this update. We've also fixed a bug causing windows to be not broken easily. My bad. The map now has alarmed houses and buildings in it. If a door wired to an alarm is broken into, destroyed, or otherwise opened, it'll trigger the house's alarm. While you can shut this off, it'll cause a loud, far-reaching noise attracting zombies, other players, and raiders in the future. Be careful. We've added the internet, and more broadly, computers, to Vane. The internet functions like any other resource in the game, where it has to be connected to servers to function. The internet won't last very long after the start of the game, but it's a good place to communicate with other players or read some pre-apocalypse news articles. Right now, the internet isn't implemented for anything, but we'll probably have something going after the next update. Regardless of the internet's stability, computers will work if they're powered. We've added some around the map, with bits of lore in the form of emails, files, and documents on the computers. We have a lot more we want to do with these, and with connected devices like cell phones in general, but that's for a future update. We've added debit card items to the game. If you find one, you can go to an ATM to withdraw the money in the account. This will come in handy when money is useful, for example, in trade or as emergency kindling. Windows that are broken need to be cleared to prevent you from getting cut up when jumping through them. The reasoning behind this is to prevent players from being able to immediately jump through a window to escape a rough situation. Zombies now break down doors, as mentioned above, and will attempt to find their way inside your building. We've also stopped zombies from infighting so much, as they tended to kill each other before even reaching you. We've added a horde mode to the game. This isn't super accessible right now and is more just to test out performance, but it essentially triples the number of zombies spawned and has them all immediately know where you are. We had some fun working on it, and it serves as a benchmark for zombie performance, which honestly isn't as good as I'd like it to be. We'll fix it. In terms of world and map changes, we're keeping changes quite small in terms of houses and buildings. You've probably noticed that the last few updates haven't had much in the way of new towns, and that's deliberate. We're still working on the construction system and some related systems like electricity and water, and while systems related to buildings are being developed, having many more buildings would make the work for these systems far tougher than you'd expect. As an example, we want to have some sort of electrical and plumbing system soon where you can destroy the counters in a house and directly wire the water main up to a new appliance. If we have 10 houses on the map, this is an easy task. We only have to do it 10 times, and can copy and paste it for houses that we add in other towns. However, if we already have 1,000 houses on the map, it means manually going through 1,000 houses and installing the system. We want to focus on core game mechanics first, and by only having Redford as a town for the first few updates, we're getting future towns developed that much faster. That being said, that doesn't exclude unique areas or regions outside of towns. We've added a mine deep in the woods north of Redford. This contains loads of various minerals which can be mined with a pickaxe. These will be used in future masonry and metallurgy crafting systems. Just don't get stuck in the underwater cave. Weapon ADS has been fixed, mostly. It's not where we'd like it to be and there's still a lot of inaccuracy with it, but we'll get a better system once we have better weapons. We've also added a new NP5 model to replace the old one, which looks quite a bit better. We've added a flare gun to the game. Our goal with this is to primarily use it for its on-label use, signaling to other people from across the map, but of course you can set zombies on fire with it. It wouldn't be a true zombie game otherwise. We've restricted some HUD elements to possession of certain items. Your compass will now only show if you have a cell phone, physical compass, or GPS. You can only see yourself on the map with a cell phone or GPS, and you can now use a cell phone or GPS to see the map itself alongside the already existing map item. For now, you only need to possess the item, but in the future we'll be adding an equipment system where you can physically equip items to use them. We've also added a clock and date UI if you possess a cell phone or clock. This lets you see the in-game time and date on your HUD. By popular demand, we've added the ability to tear clothes and similar fabrics into makeshift bandages, so you won't necessarily bleed out if you're unlucky. With respect to the player experience, we've added the ability to delete characters and other community requests. We've separated cooking and crafting recipes into categories. We're looking to do a little more UI work on these to make them more usable, but I've found that this helps quite a lot when I play the game. We've also worked on some construction menu quality of life fixes. First, structures are separated into categories. Second, we now display the ingredients and tools required for the structure and highlight items you need more of. Third, structures you can't build right now due to missing ingredients are dimmed in the construction UI. We've added an option to disable autosaves completely at the request of the community. For multiplayer server owners, we've added a quick admin menu which fills in for the console in single-player mode. This lets you kick players, teleport to them, spawn items, etc. from your server. It's bare bones, and we are actively taking requests for what would be the most useful for you to have. Based on my experience running game servers, I personally think working on better server logging is a good starting point, but in terms of functionality features, we're all ears. Also by popular demand, we've added mouse bindings to the key binding settings menu. I think a lot of players like to bind buttons on the side of their mouse to controls or rebind their mouse wheel, etc. So now you can. We have a very short miscellaneous section here, but we've added some new music, which definitely adds to the atmosphere. We're both big believers that good music sets the atmosphere in games like no other, and we'll have a more advanced music system down the line which adapts to your gameplay and situation. More news to come. Finally, we've added a seasonal event for Halloween. Hop in game between October 25th and November 1st for a spooky surprise. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave feedback if you feel like it. We read everything from Discord to Twitter to YouTube to the Steam forums. Also subscribe to our channel for more devlogs like this one. You can check if you feel like it, but we only post content we hope you'll like. Finally, if you haven't yet, be sure to wishlist Vayne on Steam. Thanks very much, and we'll see you on the next one.